Okay, a fantastic question from Time and Work. A very interesting question. I solved this in the round two. Actually, take some time. This is a little calculation intensive. Not very intense calculation though, but there are calculations nevertheless. Alright, so the question says working alone, the times taken by Anu, Tanu, Manu to complete a job are in the ratios. So let's just times taken by Anu, Tanu and Manu are in the ratio 5:8:10. They accept a job which they can finish in 4 days, working 8 hours per day. However, Anu and Tanu work together for the first 6 days, working 6 hours 40 minutes per day. So basically these two fellow are working. Then the number of hours that Manu will take to complete the remaining job and working alone is. Now very simple question. I mean, these are your, what can I say? This is the CAT, the level of CAT. Okay. Anyways, so what is the onus of the total work or the quantum of work, or you can say the total work? The total work is 4 into 8 into whatever the efficiency is. So you can write it as, right now we don't know the efficiency. First of all, the times are given and we need to convert this to efficiency. So the efficiency conversion will be very simple. Just take the inverse of these things. 1 by 5, 1 by 8, 1 by 10. You'll do that. I am doing it orally. 1 by 5, 1 by 8, and this, the LCM, if you call it an LCM, so the LCM is 40 multiplied throughout, you will get 8:5:4. Now, if you consider them as 8x, 5x and 4x, the total efficiency will come out to be 17x. This is not multiplication, by the way. This is 17x is the total efficiency. So what the total amount of work will be? The total amount of work will be whatever this is into 17x. Now x is a very this thing, okay, it's just a variable. It does not have anything. Now the question says that Anu and Tanu work together for 6 days, first 6 days, working 6 hours and 40 minutes. So what exactly is 6 hours 40 minutes? 6 whole 2 by 3, 6 whole 40 by 60. Okay, 6 hours 40 minutes. You you do your simplification, you'll get 6 into 6 whole 2 by 3. So this is the amount of work. This is the amount of work that these two girls or boys, whatever, Anu and Tanu does with their efficiencies of 13x. Okay, this is, if you simplify, you'll get 20 by 3, which is, if I do the simplification, this becomes 40 into 13x. Okay, this is 32 into 17x. Now keep these numbers as it is. This is what Anu Tanu does. Now please understand, the question is asking you then the number of hours that Manu will take to complete the remaining job. What is the remaining job? There is a total minus what Anu and Tanu has done in 6 days, working 6 hours 40 minutes with their efficiency. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that over here. How about, let me change the color to something like this. Okay, so what this girl, Manu, whoever this girl or whatever this is, 17x into 32 minus 40 into 13x, and please remember the efficiency with which Manu will come into the denominator. This will give me the number of hours, because total work divided by efficiency will give me the number of hours. Okay, now please understand, you don't have to actually, you can eliminate the x at this point in time. You don't have to actually calculate the values of 17 into 32. What you can do smartly is just cut them like this. So 17, 80 and 56 is 136, and this is obviously 130. So this comes out to be 6 hours, and that is your answer. So Manu will take 6 hours to complete the remaining job. whatever these guys are doing. A very, very, very easy question. This is, I mean, these are the type of question that you practice in your books. The first introductory sessions that we do on time and work, these are the level of question that we practice. Not at all, I don't think that this question deserves to be in CAT, but I mean, if this were in CAT, it means that, you know, percentiles will go up. Let's not say anything further. Okay guys, so there are, I mean, courses that I am running. You can go and check them out. Thank you. This is me, Somajit Goswami, signing out. Okay, a fantastic question, an easy one. Let's look into this one. CAT 22 slot 2. In a triangle ABC, the altitudes AD and BE are drawn to the corresponding bases. If angle BAC is 45 degrees and angle ABC is theta, then AD by BE equals. Now, first of all, let's draw a triangle. Now, obviously, this is a freehand diagram, so don't judge me on this thing. Remember, they have given you BAC, which is 45 degrees, and AD is perpendicular to BC, obviously altitudes, and then BE is perpendicular to AC. Okay. Now, so far so good. One thing that they are asking you is AD upon BE. Guys, please understand that AD upon BE is not very difficult to find out, because these options are actually hinting you towards somewhere. When I saw this in the test, the first thing that my eyes were, stick to this thing, that root over 2 sine theta cos theta. So sine theta cos theta, whenever you see na, dekho, there are only handful of formulas in the triangle. There are 5 areas, 5 formulas for the areas, and sine rule, cosine rule, these things. Okay, all those Apollonius theorem and all that, they're also there, but I'm saying, simply put, if there is sine theta cos theta, I would go with sine rule or cosine. Cosine rule is a little difficult to put in the first place, but sine rule is easy. So obviously that is where my mind goes first thing. And obviously this you can inculcate only when you go through, practice of certain X number of problems. Also, there is one interesting thing, root over 2. Sine 45 is also root over 2. So can you not see that sine 45 is 1 by root 2? So we can manipulate something one way or the other. Let's look into this thing. But if you're somebody who is really afraid of geometry, maybe you would want to stick to the end, because let's see what we can do with it. First of all, altitudes and a triangle, let's not use similarity or anything, because somebody can say, sir, why not similarities come into the picture, because right angle triangles and all that. I would say there is just one triangle. Let's make use of the triangle extensively. So what I will do is, area of the triangle ABC will be half into AD into BC, which in turn will be equal to half into BE into AC. Now, if you realize, half and half will cancel out each other. AD by BE is now coming out to be AC upon BC. Now, so far so good. If you've been able to come thus far, the problem is solved. Now the only idea that I need to work with is the idea of sine rule for a triangle. Now this is a very interesting and a very intuitive idea. Sine rule basically says that, so I would write it directly, AC upon theta, AC upon sine theta will be equal to BC upon sine 45. Sorry, BC upon sine 45, right? Remember that this angle was given as theta. Okay, so AD by BE is equal to AC upon BC. So AC upon BC will be sine theta by sine 45. Do we know the value of sine 45? We know the value, and the value is 1 upon root 2. When you write this, it will be root 2 sine theta. Now, obviously, anybody looking at this will say, sir, solving this thing at the comfort of your home always makes it easy. But in an exam condition, this is a little difficult. Obviously, it is going to be difficult in an exam condition, and it is difficult because for many reasons. Okay, you're taking the biggest exams, that can change and alter your reality. You can go to Mars and all that bullshit. But mota the options are there. The options are telling you that there is a root over 2. Sine 45 is root over 2. You have to know this thing. Okay, you are afraid, I know you are scared of the test, but that is all hogwash. You just need to prepare, you just need to solve problems, and when you solve problems you will reach there. Okay, courses are there. You can contact us through the WhatsApp number if you're interested. Start your preparation. If geometry is something that bugs you, rest be assured that the level of understanding and the level of practice that I'll make you do, you will be through geometry. Okay, you'll not be scared of it. Okay, so this is a lovely question of averages. It actually teaches you so many things, and I think one of the areas which you should be paying a lot of attention in arithmetic is averages, because you know of late average ka question are going like crazy, and the concept is really easy. You don't really need to do a lot. I will try to make sure that I have a dedicated section for averages in the crash course that I have designed. You can check that out, link is in the description. But let's look into this question. The question says, Manu earns 4,000 per month and wants to save an average of rupees 550 per month in a year. In the first 9 months, his monthly expense was 3,500, and he foresees that 10th month forward, his monthly expense will increase to 3,700. In order to meet his yearly saving target, his monthly earning in rupees from 10th month onward should be. A very interesting question. Let's try to understand what they are saying. So 4,000 is the earning. Just a second, let me change the color. So 4,000 is the earning. Wants to save 550. Effectively wants to reach at 3,450. But the problem with this fellow is that he's spending 3,500 on a monthly basis, and that too for 9 months. Effectively, if you just, so first of all, don't do 3,500 into 9. Look at it this way, that he is spending extra 50 rupees every month for the 9 months. Okay, extra 50 rupees. I'll repeat myself. He is spending extra 50 for the next 9 months. Okay, now let's read ahead. Please understand, he wanted to save 550. He foresees that the 10th month forward, his monthly expense will increase to 3,700. Oh, so 3,500 se badh karke this will become 3,700. The problem now is that if the expense is going up, he can never actually meet his target. And this is the question. If the expense is going up, he is already due by 50 rupees every month, and 10th month forward he is also seeing that his expense is increasing by 200 rupees. To meet his yearly target, he's a very modest fellow, he's a very generous fellow. He says, mere ko zyada paisa nahi chahiye. What I thought na, that 550 into 12 I want to do in a year, I will only stick to that. Okay, so he just wants to stick to it, and for that what he wants to do is he wants to increase his income. How much will he increase his income? Obviously this is a multiple choice questions. I have not given the options for a simple reason. Options are not necessary for this question. You just need to understand. Now see, there are 3 months left. Okay, 10th, 11th and 12th. Please understand, this is very logical. I'm not doing it I'm just doing all of this to show you. Okay, this is very logical. The problem with this fellow is that I have already, or this fellow has already spent 450 rupees which he wants back. He wants to earn 450 rupees back only, then he will be able to meet his target of 550 rupees into 12, right? So if he has to earn the 450 rupees back, and I have only 3 months, or you have only 3 months, he has only 3 months, how will he do that? Obviously he will divide that by 3, and when he divides that by 3, every month he should have an extra 150 rupees. plus the 550 that he wanted, plus the 550 that he wanted to save. He is not, he's hell-bent that I will save 550 and I will also compensate on the money that I have lost. So every month I am saving 550, which I supposedly should, and the 150 from the previous transactions, because I want to make sure that at the end of the year my monthly saving is that much which I wanted. If you realize, when you add these two for a particular month, this will come out to be 700. Now his expense is 3700 and every month he's saving 700. Can you not see that the answer to this question will be 3700? Let me write it over there. 3700 plus 700, which is 4400. This is the answer. Now this is very logical question. I don't think anybody can, like, literally, you really don't need to put pen on paper for this question, but in an exam condition you have to write certain things, and these are the things which you'll write, that how much he wants to save, how much he is falling short by, and how he can manage that, because ultimately he is a generous fellow. He doesn't want a lot of money, he wants to save that much only. Okay, he's just like you and me. If you are like me, then you will go and check out the courses that I'm designing. Link is in the description. This is me, Somujit, signing out. Okay, let's look into this question. A very interesting question. These type of questions are very, critical in your preparation. Student keep on asking us, sir, we are not able to solve the questions in the actual test setup. The only reason for that could be that you are not solving the relevant types of questions. You know where you can find relevant questions. There is a link in the description. You can check that out. The question says the number of integer solutions for the equation x square minus 10. So this is a raised to the power b that is equals to 1. Now obviously this is something that will come to your mind, and fortunately there are many students who remember this thing, that anything raised to the power 0 is 1. So what I am saying is, if 1 raised to the power anything is 1, that means one condition is, if a is equal to 1, I don't have to bother about b at this point in time. Another condition is if if b is equal to 0. Okay, there is one more condition that can actually potentially make this equation, or any a raised to the power b, and this is important. This is what practice teaches you, or practice takes you, because you will not find these type of questions. Obviously previous CAT you can check that out. Any negative number, or not exactly any negative number, negative 1 raised to the power 2 is 1. You can generalize this by saying negative 1 raised to an even number is always going to be 1. Okay, this is a generalization. So these three conditions we will use, and we will see what we can get out of it. So let's start with the first condition, that is a is equal to 1. When I take a is equal to 1, this becomes x square minus 10 is equal to 1. X square is equal to 11. This implies that x is equal to root over 11. Okay, could be plus 11, minus 11, does not matter. This is something we cannot have this thing, because this is an irrational number. It is not an integer. Okay, so 1 raised to the power anything goes out of the picture. The next case is anything raised to the power 0. Effectively we are talking about x square minus 3x minus 10 equals to 0. Now obviously you will be very fast at factorizing this. This will be x minus 5 and x plus 2. Sum has to be minus 3, product has to be minus 10. Okay, that is equals to 0, which means either x is going to be 5 or x is going to be minus 2. Let's write this somewhere. Okay, let's write it. So x can be 5 or minus 2. So two possible values so far. Now the last thing that we need to check for is the one which we just mentioned, which is negative 1 raised to the power even. Okay, hopefully we will get somewhere. So suppose this is minus 1, this is x square is equal to 9. I'm directly doing it. Okay, 10 goes to RHS, becomes plus 10 minus 1, 9. X will be plus 3 or minus 3. Now we are receiving two values. Now this is not it. You have to check by putting whether plus 3 and minus 3 makes this thing even. So let's do that. So this becomes 9. This becomes 9. And this is minus 10. So obviously minus 10 is an even number. Yeah, anything raised to the power even. Okay, doesn't matter if it is minus 10, because minus 10 is also even. We'll check for minus 3. When you do that, this becomes 9 and this becomes again plus 9, and this one becomes minus 10. Okay, 18. 9 plus 9, 18 minus 10, that is 8. This is also an even number. So so both the cases, plus 3 minus 3, both satisfies the idea that minus 1 raised to the power even will be 1. So effectively, where is it that I have arrived? I have arrived at 4 values for this particular expression, plus 3 minus 3, and the answer to this would be 4. I made an error this during the test in the actual CAT. I don't know what I was doing. I put the answer as 3. Okay, I did not took the minus 3. So yeah, the silly errors happen here and there. So yeah, again, I mean, courses are there in the description. You can check them out. I am designing test series at the very minimal price. If you want to have them, okay, go there in the WhatsApp. You can contact me.
Welcome back to the session. My name is Somajit Goswami, and we are solving CAT 2022 slot 2 questions. This is actually a very important question. It teaches you a lot of things. It tests a lot of things. Averages is one of those areas which, if you're not preparing, properly, you should go and prepare it properly. So I hope you have seen this question, and I hope that you have at least tried it. And if you haven't given it a try, possibly this is the time. Pause the video and try this one. Now I'm hoping that you've given it some try. Now let's start with this one. I'll just reduce the palette a little bit just so that I have some space to work. The question is an interesting one. Says the average of a non-decreasing sequence of n numbers, a1, a2 all the way till an. So a1, a2 all the way till an, and this average a1 plus a2. Now if I write this like this, is equals to 300. Okay, this is a non-decreasing sequence. What does this mean? Now you have to be very careful of these terms. Non-decreasing sequence, it just simply means that the the terms a2, a3, a4 either are going to be greater than a1 or equal to a1. In other words, if you like algebraic terms, a1 will be less than equals a2 will be less than equals a3, and this basically is what it means. I don't really think you need this type of algebraic notion, but yeah, let's use the idea of averages. The second part says if a1 is replaced by 6a1, so instead of a1, if I write 6a1s, the rest of the things remains the same. Actually, instead of writing all of this, you could have just written it like k. A1 plus k by n. These are your summation of the the n minus a1 terms. Similarly, I can write it like this, is equal to 400. This is what is given. So when a1 is replaced by 6a1, the new average becomes this thing. Now pretty intuitively, this is given for a very specific reason. This is given so that you can get some sort of a relation between a1 and this n. Now if you do your mathematics, if you do subtracting one from the other, you will get 5a1 is equal to 100n. Now so far so good. Let's constantly make some space. Okay, now what do I have?
5a1 is equal to this. So a1 is equal to 20. This implies that a1 is equal to 20n. Now this is very important. This basically tells you the value of the first term. Okay, the value of the first term, a1 20n, also means that all the other terms, the a2, a3, a4, a5, can also be 20n or a little more than 20n. Now if that is the case, if there are 20, suppose the value of the first one is 20n and all other terms are, you know, only 20n itself, because I want the average to be 300. So 20n times n by n, because multiplying by n terms, dividing by n terms, and this is equals to 300, which in turn 20n is equal to 300. So this is basically what I am getting at. Now very easily with this analogy I can get at n is equal to 15. Now what exactly n represent? N is the number of terms. So I have received an upper limit. On the number of terms, which is 15. Can it be 16? Think about it. Can it be 16, 17? Why is it the upper limit is only limited to n is equals to 15? Because if you substitute for 16 terms, remember the first term will be a1, that is 20 into 16, which is 320. Now if the just a second, if the first term is 320, for and all other terms are either equal to 320 or more than 320, think about it logically. Is the average going to be 300? So the average can never be 300 for n is equal to 16. Now that is a very interesting idea, because now my upper limit has been defined at n equals 15. So now you know where we are going. So basically now we are looking at the lower limit. Okay, how do we calculate the lower limit? The same thing, we will use some ideas. Okay, we will substitute the value of, okay, let me make some space. All the important ideas are with you. Okay, so this one I'm substituting for n equals to 1 term. If a1 equal to n equal to 1, so the first term is 20. Now think about it. If there is only one term, that is 20. How can the average be 300? There is only one term. The average will be 20 only. Can we have two terms? Let's see. If we have two terms, or in other words, what I'm trying to arrive at is, if I suppose this to be a2, substituting for n equals to 2, the first term can be 40. There are two terms. Remember, we are using for two terms. The first term is 40. The other term can be something adding to 40, dividing by 2 gives me 300. Basically this term can be 560. 560 plus 40 is 600. 600 divided by 2 is 300. So two term is completely possible. This does not violate my condition. Okay, so what am I looking at? I'm looking at n is equal to 15 is my upper limit for this, and n is equal to 2 is my lower limit. And why is this business for upper limit, lower limit? Because we're looking at a string of numbers. So basically a1 can be 2, 3, 4, all the way till 15. How many numbers are there from 2 to 15? So actually they are going to be 14. Now please don't say that it will be 15 minus 2, that is 13. Actually this will be the big number minus the small number plus 1. Okay, so 14 possible values of a1 is there. Okay, I hope you understood this thing. Not a very difficult one, but it actually tests your idea to recall numbers, your ideas to fit in numbers and see whether the average fits into that idea.